2016 General Assembly session. We will go ahead and start with Julie, and then the next question we'll go ahead and start with Craig on the second question. So Julie, you get the first question.
This one was a little bit hard for me because, of course, like all of us and probably all of you, there's 17. Being raised by a single mom, I thought about fair wages. Medicaid expansion is crucial, but at the end of the day, I want to talk about the thing that I care most deeply about because it will touch the most people for the longest time and have the most impact. And that's actually early care and education. We can see the difference in kids' brains at 18 months, depending on whether they come from a family with means or a family with low resources. That difference can persist if it's accompanied by trauma over the life course of those kids. So we really need to make sure that every kid has access to quality, safe, affordable pre-K. Not just for the kids, but for our workforce. Because those deficits at the very beginning carry through the whole life course. Additionally, we've got some really serious things in K-12 education to pay attention to. One of them being testing and the second being capacity. We need to move to a system where testing is less about teaching to a test and so many days at the end of the year to a situation where we are testing based on student mastery. That's begun in the last year with the cutting from 22 tests to 17. But it's important that we also look at that and that we look at the local capacity index so that we make sure that we are adequately funding our schools.
Thank you, Marcus.
Anyone who's read my literature knows that it's hard for me to set just one priority. I have special ideas on the environment. I agree with Julie, very strong in education. In fact, I talked with Robert Kubica in detail on exactly how to do the legislative strategy to help have universal pre-K. But for me, I think the thing that people most need in this area is a chance to survive. And if you look at the minimum wage, $7.25 in Virginia, $2.13 for people who work in tip professions. Now that hasn't gone up since 1990, where it went up a dime where it was 10 years earlier. 35 years. And this is something that a good 25, 30% of people live on. That is all they live on. I don't know how they live on it, particularly in this area. Republicans claim to care about local control. The Dillon Rule, as we all know in Virginia, prohibits local jurisdictions from doing what they want to do. I have no doubt that Arlington, Alexandria, and Fairfax County would raise the local minimum wage if they could. I would let them do it.
As I mentioned in my opening statement, my main priority in the 2016 General Assembly session is going to be K-12 education. I appreciate my colleagues' attention and the need for early childhood education and pre-K. And while I certainly don't disagree with that importance, we have to give our students what they need when they're in school. And we will see that anything that we do in K-12 education will affect our students and our employers immediately. So by taking the focus off of high-stakes testing, ensuring that our schools are adequately funded, and as we've heard, and as many of us know, we've not funded our schools adequately year after year after year. We're 20% down in funding over the past 10 years in our schools, and that's just not doing our students or our residents what they need. And certainly from a business perspective, businesses have no interest in going where they can't have a good educational system.
My top priority in the next General Assembly session is to be a strong ally to Governor McAuliffe to fight to expand Medicaid. Here in Virginia, we have not been able to fully realize the potential of the Affordable Care Act. There are 400,000 uninsured Virginians and 2,500 residents here in the 45th District who are eligible but not covered by Medicaid for any other reason than politics. Virginia is also losing $3.5 million per day in the federal funds that we've already paid federal taxpayer dollars for, and that's fiscally irresponsible. I'm under no illusions that we can expand Medicaid without winning more Democratic seats. And as chair of the Alexandria Democrats, we work to elect Democrats in swing areas so we have a better shot to succeed. And finally, I just wanted to point out that back in April, Montana actually expanded Medicaid. And I think that can serve as a model. In their compromise, they made sure that rural hospitals would not close down. That's very consistent with what's going on in Southwest Virginia. This would be a common sense approach I would like to bring to the General Assembly. Thank you.
My top legislative priority will be to continue the outstanding work that Delegate Krupika has done in the areas of early education and early intervention for at-risk kids. And there are two main reasons for this. Number one, it's the right thing to do. Pre-K offers one of the most clear returns on investment. Every dollar we spend in pre-K can yield $8 or more in returns later on in society through fewer foster care stipends, less incarceration, less unemployment, less underemployment, less crime, you name it. And so it is one of the most obvious ways that we can make a difference in children's lives and let them live their fullest potential, but also reap the most benefits for society. But the second reason why I think this is a good choice, a smart choice for a legislative priority, is because it doesn't have to be partisan. As a court-appointed special advocate or a CASA volunteer, I work with kids who are victims of abuse and neglect. Everybody can identify with this issue, everybody can get behind it, whether you're a tax and spend liberal or a fiscal conservative. There's something in pre-K for everyone, and we can make a real difference in the General Assembly.